What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Prem in USA podcast, where today we will be discussing the potential transfer of Max Aarons, the Norwich fullback, to either Arsenal or Tottenham. I'm joined here with Efe.
Yeah, so today we'll be discussing which club he would be better suited for, which club he should join, which club need him more. I think the first thing we can talk about is him as a young player at Norwich City. He's had a really good season in his first year in the Prem. He's been started almost every single game for Norwich. Even though they're relegated, he's certainly been playing well for his age. So, first thing, which club do you think he should join, Oscar?
Well, I think in terms of practicality, I think Tottenham will definitely offer a higher transfer fee than Arsenal will, just based on recent times. We've seen Arsenal not really splash the cash other than Nicola Pepe last season. But in terms of developing youngsters, I do think that Mikel Arteta could do a really good job with him at Arsenal, although he may not be in as good of a team.
Yeah, that's true. I guess what you could say is that with the ambition, it looks like with Mourinho, Spurs will be most likely to win a trophy in the near future. But if he wants to develop as a player, he probably better go out to Arsenal. We've already seen what Arteta's done with players like Saka, Martinelli,
Yeah,
and the
I
like.
think I think the thing is with him going to Arsenal is I think that's kind of I hate to say this because I know this is going to piss you off, but I think Arsenal would be more of a stepping stone kind of club. You know what I mean? I think he'd go to Arsenal, he'd probably develop for 3 to 4 years, and if he develops well, he may move on to another club because he's as he starts to enter his prime. And that could garner a significant transfer fee for Arsenal, but I think that's just the state they're in right now. Unless they start showing some uncharacteristic ambition over the next couple seasons, I don't see them challenging for any trophies. In fact, I see them struggling to make even any European competition, to be honest with you.
No, man, I'm not pissed off about that assessment at all. Well,
Yeah.
depending on the what we've seen with the usual pattern with Arsenal, he'll probably develop, become one of England's best right backs, and then he'll go to Manchester United for 70 million.
Yeah, this
and
this is this
yeah,
is very true.
yeah, and then
Whereas
we're
I think if he does go to Tottenham, he may struggle a bit more at developing, but he'll slide right into that starting right back position for sure. Because Aurier has had, I would say, a questionable season for sure. And I know a lot of Spurs fans have been really frustrated with him this season, and I think he'd slide right in there. He'd be another one of those young English players that Spurs seem so good at collecting. Dele Alli and Harry Kane and players like that. So I think he would still probably develop, but then obviously Mourinho's record of developing youngsters is not the greatest. But I think this could be all right here because he is that starting player.
yeah, that's true. It's not like they're taking a real risk on him either. He's been in the Premier League and he's played well there. But I mean, you kind of touched on it already. Mourinho, he only buys players who really already have the mentality and he already knows how they are. So I mean, he would have to have a really good attitude to succeed in that team. But I think we can transition to the other topic, which is, I mean, which club needs him more? And what's your assessment of that?
Well, I think going back to Mourinho, I think Tottenham are in need of a right back, and I think Mourinho is good at identifying players when given the backing. I think he's good at identifying players that fit his system. And I think that if he thinks that Max Aarons will fit his system, he could, Aarons could thrive there, and he could be the right back for a long, long time, as long as Mourinho is manager of Spurs. But on the other hand, I think Arsenal, they also have a bit of a hole at right back. They have Hector Bellerin, who's not looking. He's looking for worse for wear after all his injuries, and I think he's lost a step. But I think, to be honest with you, I think Arsenal may have bigger holes, and with a more limited transfer budget, I do wonder if they could fill a different hole, perhaps.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you did touch on the injury with Hector Bellerin. With Mikel Arteta coming in, he wants very ambitious players, players who want to win trophies, and players with great attitude. Something that Bellerin has been questionable with is his attitude. He's been very, in the media, he's been very flamboyant with his clothing, with his attitude. And I mean, also with the injury, we just don't. He hasn't played as well as he has before the injury. He hasn't gone anywhere near that level. So I do think that Arsenal do need a right back. Um, But
Would you, as a fan, would you say that that's the top priority though? If you could like put, list out Arsenal's top three transfer priorities for us as a fan who watches pretty much every second of every game.
here's the thing with how good Mikel Arteta's been. I actually have no idea what we need right now because I mean our attack has been we've actually been lacking creativity under Arteta more than anything, which we didn't. We've always had goals in our team, but I mean he made our center backs look good ever since he came in. David Luiz and Mustafi have been pretty solid. Bellerin's been okay, and then we've got Saka at left back, and Tierney will come back. Our midfield has lacked a bit of physicality, I guess you would say there, and we're already linked with Thomas Partey. I guess you could put him there. But I
Yeah.
mean, and there's also Ozil aging at number 10. But I mean, other than that, I don't really know for sure, but I guess I would say physicality in midfield.
Okay, I would agree with that. Here's the thing though. If physicality in your midfield is number one, I'm not going to say that Aaron's the luxury buy because he'd be a really good buy for the future, but would you be happy if you went into the season and pretty much your only big buy was Max Aaron?
Well, I guess you're touching onto more of an Arsenal issue historically, which is we're going to buy Max Aarons for 30 million. The fans are going to get hyped. We're going to be saying, "Oh my God, if you make a couple more signings, we're going to complete our team and challenge for the title." And then we're not going to make another signing.
Yes,
So I
this
guess
is
you're
the
right
issue.
there. Yeah, I guess
This
you're
is the
right
issue that
there.
I'm thinking, right? Whereas Tottenham, you could see them making multiple signings still. They have a bunch of loan players. They could decide to bring in on full deals. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their thought process is. I'm sure they probably will sign Lo Celso on a full deal. But
No, you.
you
I
know,
mean, you are right, and I mean they also
yeah,
do need a right back more.
I think so. So I think him to Tottenham makes a lot more sense, and I think historically, it's probably a bit more likely. Personally, I think maybe it might be worth it for Aaron to take a chance on Arsenal, but I think he probably won't. I think Tottenham probably is the club for him, if I'm honest with you, which I'm sure you're not happy about. But
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with that. So,
all
I
right,
mean, I
and with
need.
yeah,
Mm,
with that solved, I think. Do you have any outstanding points other than that, or
if he wants to become a better player, join Arsenal. If he wants to win trophies, if he wants to have a good career, join Tottenham. That's the summary, I guess.
yeah, I would agree with that. So he should join Tottenham.